let's talk about energy. But maybe not in the way you're used to thinking about it. We're not talking about another cup of coffee or just getting more sleep. We're going way deeper. We're going straight to the source code of your vitality, right down to the cellular level. So let's dive in and figure out how to give your body's most fundamental power source a serious upgrade.
This quote, it just perfectly sets the stage, doesn't it? It suggests that our mitochondria are way more than just these tiny biological machines. They're like these little alchemists inside every one of our cells, turning the food we eat and the light we see into the very energy that powers our thoughts, our feelings, our consciousness. For years, we've all heard the term powerhouse of the cell. And sure, it's true, but it's kind of a boring and incomplete picture. The new way of seeing them is so much cooler. Think of them less like some old-school, dirty coal power plant and more like these incredibly sophisticated, super responsive quantum inner batteries. Batteries that you can actively charge, protect, and even upgrade. Okay, so if we've got these amazing inner batteries, why do so many of us feel totally drained all the time? Why does that energy just seem to fade? Let's be really clear about this. Feeling tired isn't some kind of personal failing. It's actually a predictable biological process. You can think of it as a dimming of the light, and the best part is we can absolutely reverse it. The best way to picture this is with the carbonized engine analogy. You know how a car engine gets all gunked up with soot and starts losing performance? Well, the same thing happens to our cellular engines. They get bogged down by biological exhaust or smoke. And this doesn't just make you feel tired. It's the real root of that brain fog we all hate, that feeling that you're just not thinking as sharply as you used to. So what's actually causing all this gunk? Well, it really boils down to three big issues. First, there's electron leakage. So as your mitochondria are making energy, they sometimes create these little damaging sparks called reactive oxygen species, or ROS. A few are okay, but too many act just like rust on your internal hardware. Second, there's a breakdown in the cellular cleanup crew. Imagine the garbage collectors in your city going on strike. That's what happens here. Old, broken down, zombie mitochondria don't get cleared out and they just clog up the whole system. And third, something we call EMF interference. The idea here is that all the chaotic frequencies in our modern world can act like static on the radio, potentially disrupting the delicate electrical signals your mitochondria need to work properly.
Now here's the kicker. All of this gets amplified by a master survival program called the cell danger response. Think of it like a master circuit breaker. When your cells feel like they're under constant attack, from stress, from toxins, from inflammation, the mitochondria flip a switch. They stop focusing on making energy and go into a defensive, low-power mode. The real problem is, for a lot of us in the modern world, that switch gets stuck in the on position.
Okay, enough of the problem, let's get to the solution. And what's so empowering is that the fix isn't about being gentle or just doing maintenance. It's about a strategic upgrade. We're going to talk about how to use short, beneficial bursts of stress to literally force your body to build a more powerful and resilient energy system from the ground up. And the name for this principle is hormesis. You've heard that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Well, this is literally that, but applied directly to your cells. We're not just trying to top off our batteries anymore. We are intentionally creating a demand that signals our body to build brand new, high-performance biological hardware. Let's check out a few really powerful ways to do this. First up is light. And this might just be the most direct way to talk to your mitochondria. Because here's the thing. They are literally light receptive. They can see. There's a special enzyme inside them called cytochrome C oxidase that acts like a tiny solar panel. When specific wavelengths of light hit it, it spins faster, directly and immediately accelerating energy production. How cool is that? So the takeaway here is to use light like a tool. Getting that morning sunlight in your eyes first thing primes your entire circadian rhythm and boosts mitochondrial repair. Using targeted red and near-infrared light can give you a more concentrated charge when you need it. And just as important is what you do at night, your blue light hygiene. Avoiding that harsh artificial blue light after the sun goes down is critical because it disrupts the cleanup cycles your mitochondria desperately need. All right, now for something that might sound a little out there, what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for cellular upgrade isn't something you buy or eat or even do at the gym, but a sound you can make right now for free? Sounds wild, I know, but the science behind this is absolutely fascinating. Just look at this number for a second, 15 to 20 times. This isn't a 15 or 20% improvement. It's a 15 to 20 times fold increase. That's a massive, almost unbelievable physiological shift. A 1,500 to 2,000% jump in a molecule that is absolutely critical for cellular energy. So, what on earth could do this? It's humming. Seriously, just humming. Research from the world-renowned Karolinski Institute found that the simple vibration from humming increases a gas called nitric oxide in your nasal passages by up to 20 times. So why is that a huge deal? Because nitric oxide is a super potent vasodilator. It opens up all your blood vessels, which means you can flood your cells and your mitochondria with the oxygen they need to make energy way more efficiently. Next up, let's talk about temperature. This is another one of those powerful good stresses. But what's interesting is that cold and heat do completely different things. Cold exposure is one of the strongest signals we know of for something called biogenesis, which is just a fancy word for building brand new mitochondria. Heat, on the other hand, is more about maintenance. It activates these things called heat shock proteins, which act like a tiny repair crew, going around and fixing the machinery inside your existing mitochondria.
And exercise works in a really similar way. Different styles send totally different upgrade signals. That steady zone 2 cardio, where you're moving but can still hold a conversation, that's fantastic for building your metabolic base. It trains your mitochondria to get really, really good at burning fat for fuel. Then you have HIIT, high-intensity interval training. That does something totally different. It creates a massive energy debt, a real crisis for your cells. And that crisis is the most powerful signal to your body to say, hey, we need more and stronger mitochondria now.
Okay, so we've covered the science, the why, and the how. Now let's put it all together. Let's make this practical with a simple daily action plan. I want you to start thinking of yourself less like just a consumer of energy and more like a steward, the caretaker of your own cellular health. The foundation for everything, of course, is what you eat. The main goal here is twofold. You want to reduce that biological smoke we talked about, and you want to provide all the right building blocks. This means focusing on healthy fats from things like avocados and olive oil because they're a much cleaner burning fuel. It also means you want to flood your system with protective antioxidants, which you get from sulfur-rich veggies like broccoli and cauliflower, and just eating a huge variety of colorful plants.
Okay, this right here, this is the cheat sheet. This is where it all comes together. So let's just walk through this nice and simple. For light, just 20 minutes of morning sun to prime your whole system. For breath, a mere 5 minutes of humming to get that massive nitric oxide boost. For exercise, mix in that zone 2 cardio and some HIIT throughout the week. For temperature, even a quick cold shower can activate proteins that help your mitochondria work better. And for diet, try to eat your meals in a smaller window, like 8 hours. This triggers that cellular cleanup process, mitophagy activation, where your body recycles old, worn-out parts. Each one of these is a simple habit, but together they send an incredibly powerful signal to upgrade your entire energy system.
So, how do you know if any of this is actually working? Well, you don't need a fancy lab or an expensive test. The feedback is right there in your daily experience. It's waking up and feeling mentally clear before you've had any coffee. It's having smooth, stable energy all day without that dreaded 3 p.m. crash. It's noticing you recover way faster from your workouts. It's even realizing you don't mind the cold as much as you used to. These are the real-world signs that your cellular upgrade is taking hold. And all of this brings us to a really powerful idea. This isn't just about feeling a little bit better or having a bit more energy. Taking conscious control of your cellular health, it's the ultimate path to what you might call biological sovereignty. It's a state of self-mastery and deep resilience that you build from the inside out. So let's end on this question right here. Your cells are constantly listening. Right now, they are listening to the environment you're creating for them through the light you're seeing, the air you're breathing, the food you're eating, and the demands you place on your body. They are literally waiting for instructions. So what signals are you going to send them today?